Welcome into Lion Pride Sports. Here with you, I'm Andrew Rogers for another Coaches Edition to our show, and we are actually joined by a player as well, so I can't just say Coaches Edition. We have a coach and a player for the first time this year, and those two are Coach Katie Falco of the women's basketball team and player, the big man down low, Callie Billner. Callie and Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
All right, first and foremost, for those that don't know, I'm on the practice squad, so I'm a pretty big deal, right? But how have practices been without me as of late?
Callie, you can talk about this one.
I mean, we always enjoy having you guys, but whenever you're not there, practice is the same. We still have the same energy. You're just an added bonus.
Oh, I was hoping for something like, like tears fall off the face. Like,
we do get a little sad when you're gone.
Emotional, thank you. At least just fill me up with something, right? But anyway, on the other side of things, we're going to sum up the season a little bit. That's what I want to do first, because we haven't gotten to speak with you guys just yet. And then I want to preview the MIAA. So we'll start in non-conference. You guys started in Magnolia, Arkansas. I'm sure it was a beautiful town. And you guys went down. Was the weather a little cooler than it was up here at that time? Because I know we had like 60-degree weather, and I think it was a little cooler down in Arkansas when you guys went. I don't know if that played into any effect for you guys. But in that first game, you guys got 2 victories down there. Just describe that road trip for me, especially for you, Coach, being your first road trip.
It was a great experience, great road trip. One thing I talked to the team about prior to us leaving was just how much I was looking forward to them being on the road and us being able to be together. For the first time for us as a new coaching staff and as a team, we're going to be able to spend some time outside of just the day-to-day practice and the grind. So get to be with each other in the hotel and the restaurant and just build that team bonding and that camaraderie, and then have a chance to go win a couple of basketball games. So for me personally, I really enjoyed being with the team and getting to spend time with them, and then certainly going out in the court. It was a really productive road trip. It was a good test for where our team is going to be at here at the beginning of the year. And our team really handled winning on the road and being challenged by 2 different teams. We had some different defenses and things thrown at us for the opening weekend that we responded really well. So it was a good start to see how our team responds to things that are maybe different than what we see on a day-to-day grind, and being able to measure yourself against a different opponent. So I was really proud of them.
And of course, all you can do is prep and coach. When it all comes down to it, you need a player to put forth some effort. And Callie, this is where I'm going to you now. First game of the year, how did you think you played personally, and then just as the team as a whole?
I think I played good, and as a team as a whole, we all played super well. We shared the ball. Everyone contributed to the game. It was a very team win. Very good team win. Yeah,
and then a follow-up to that for you, and Coach, I'll get your input on this too, but for you as a player, what's it like playing with new girls every year, so like the freshman class that comes in, and how do you have to step up as almost a leader for some of these girls?
Especially the freshmen, you have to guide them through and let them know what to expect and what they're about to face, because they really have no idea what the transition from high school to college ball is going to be like on that first game, since we're the only team they've ever played against. And so you just have to let them know what to do in certain situations, things like that. But yeah.
And then Coach, for you, let's just talk about the freshmen for me. Who excites you the most from moving from, let's just say, if we recap the the non-conference games that have been played, from what you've seen so far and moving forward, which freshman excites you the most out there?
I'm really proud of all of our freshmen, to be perfectly honest. As Callie mentioned, it's a big transition from high school to college, and to have the level of play that we're going against, the day-to-day grind. College basketball is a high level of expectation and what they're expected to do on a daily basis, and I'm really proud of all of them. We have 4 new freshmen, and then Devin Ferg from last season, being that she redshirted, so we have 5 freshmen on the team this year, and they've just really taken the stride. They've really been led by the other players on our team, and so it's really exciting to see. Certainly Devin has had a really good push here recently, and Ellen McCorkle has done a really good job, but all 5 of our freshmen have had opportunities to come in and step in and play and show up day to day and in their grind, so I really like to see that.
And Devin was somebody that really excited me watching a little bit last year, after she went down with injury, and then she was recovering basically all year. And I never got to watch some of her huddle tape, but some of the other members of the practice squad said that they watched her play at St. James, and they were like, wow, this girl's going to be good. Like, she's a good shooter. She can drive to the hole sometimes. And I was a little skeptical at first when I first saw her come into the game, but she really proved me wrong in these first 6 games, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, she's just got this spark about her. You know, she's a really good athlete, and like you mentioned, she can shoot it and she can put it on the floor. So she plays with a little bit of this sassiness and feistiness, which I really like, and the speed that she plays with. So she's doing a really good job.
And then, Callie, you can attest to this. I would probably say Devin isn't the most vocal on the floor. Could you agree with that?
I would agree, yeah. But she gets the ball and she just takes it to the hole. She has no stopping her, and she's ready to play.
She's one way or the highway.
Yeah.
And that's what we like to see.
And I played her in high school, actually, I think 3 times. And when I knew she was coming to Lindenwood, I'm like, okay, this is good for us. Even though she had to sit out last year, I'm like, this is going to be good.
Which is so cool to see, yeah. And then we move on to a couple of GLVC opponents. Spoiler alert, we won both games, so the GLVC better watch out for us. But it was first against UMSL, the first home game of the year. And Coach, my first question to you is going to be, it's your first-year head coach. Of course, I haven't mentioned that just yet. Your first-year head coach. You coming from South Dakota State. And not only do you come, but your family comes with you. So when you're here coaching your first game, what's it like just being in the atmosphere of the home Highland Arena and also having your family there in attendance to also cheer you on in your first game as a head coach?
You know, that was really special. My family means the world to me, and so they've been instrumental in this process. I wouldn't be allowed to do what I do if it wasn't for my family and their support. And you know, my husband, he's a stay-at-home dad, and so then my kiddos get to come in and enjoy the experience as much as they can, and they love it. They're invested, they're engaged, and it's really special. You know, my parents were there too, and my sister. You know, so for them to be able to come and experience that first week of home games was really neat. And so, you know, I just love being here. I love this group of ladies that I get to coach, and they've really done a great job of sharing in my family as well. You know, my kids are around quite a bit. They see them run in the gym or on the road, and so for the first time as a head coach to know that, you know, my rocks are you know, sitting right behind me and cheering us on is pretty cool.
And then, Callie, for you, of course, your family's always there watching and cheering you on. What does that mean for you, especially now that you're a junior? This has been 3 total, or 2 years total, and now going on a 3rd season of them being there to back you up.
It's just good knowing that you have someone like from your blood in the stands watching you. You always, not that you never have a reason not to play good, but you always have a reason to play and show up, and it's just good knowing that you have a support system that comes with you no matter where you are. They've been to every game I've played in, even the games I was injured. They traveled to Kearney, they traveled to Fort Hays. It's just good knowing that they're invested into the program just as much as I am.
And then another question to follow. So you guys played UMSL, you beat UMSL, then you played Illinois Springfield, you beat Illinois Springfield. Now you went to the Thanksgiving Classic, and this is something that it's something that's always interested me, because I don't know how you handle your system yet, Coach, but and this is a great way for me to actually learn in this question. A lot of coaches always have teams come together for Thanksgiving and have dinner together, and then they also, you know, practice and play games, because a lot of players can't go home during this time because you always have to keep working. So for you guys, did you guys have like a team bonding Thanksgiving dinner?
You know, we were very blessed to be able to go to a player's home. We went to Lindsay Medlin's home on the way. So we practiced on the morning of Thanksgiving because we did play the next day. So we couldn't take that day completely off, as hard as that may be sometimes with a holiday. But it's really special to be able to have our team together. And as a family, you know, we talk about family being really important. And we're kind of the extended family or second family for the players on our team. We spend a lot of time together. So we practiced, and then we hit the road, and we're able to go to Lindsay's families and have some home-cooked food and some desserts, and Callie's mom helped with that as well, you know, so we're able to hang out and just really enjoy each other and enjoy the day and be able to share what we're thankful for.
And I'm shocked that Callie's mom actually said to help. She's always there, it seems. She's everywhere. She follows this team around. She's probably your mascot of the team, I would say, like the person that's always there with you guys no matter what. I think I can say that. I like your mom. Your mom's cool.
Oh, thank you.
But anyway, for you, let's go with this. You know, you, as a team, again, you're building this bond. You're doing this thing. What does this do for the relationship of the team?
Oh, it definitely keeps it going up on an uphill slant. We had so much fun at Lindsay's house, and it was just a good place for us all to relax and have fun and not have to focus on basketball. We weren't at Lindenwood. We weren't on the road, so we didn't have to necessarily focus on a basketball game at that point in time. So we just got to be ourselves. We were playing catch. We were just doing what we would do in our normal day life with each other. And
then you guys took on Drury, of course, the 9th team in the nation, a tough opponent. And we won't go into detail in this, because I want to get to the MIAA. I want to preview that. And then you guys also took on Truman State, which was a huge bounce back. 90-plus points in that game is a phenomenal outcome. And I believe that was the game, Callie, your most recent double-double, 26 points and 12 boards. And then you mentioned Ellen McCorkle a little bit ago. That was probably her standout game of the year, which is good to see. But moving toward the MIAA now, Coach, first for you, after moving from D1 to D2, what does like a conference change like that mean? Or is there really much of a difference when it comes to conferences rather than divisions?
You know, there's certainly pride of being in a conference. You know, you're measuring yourself up against a lot of the other opponents, and so for me, you know, we want to win a championship, you know, and I don't care what division it is, what conference it is, you know. Certainly in the MIAA, it's a phenomenal league, and we're going to really be challenged as coaches and as a team, because we're going to be going up against great competition every single night. So, you know, we're very proud to be in the MIAA, and we're really looking forward to starting our conference season here shortly. You know, but for us, we focus on the task at hand, and that's winning games, and that's bringing our team together and continually improving, and hopefully we can put ourselves in a position where we do really well in the conference play.
And then you mentioned a conference championship, Callie, of course, last year, first-time MIAA conference champions. You were a part of that team. How do you plan to, you know, repeat something like that?
We just have to do us, and doing us will get us back there, and we just can't think about that anymore. That was last year. That's done and over with. It's a new year. Everyone has a new slate, new team. So it's basically who shows up this year.
And then opening, final question for you, Coach, opening the MIAA with 2, 4, and 15 teams from last year. Now you can't, of course, think of the past whenever you're looking at the future, but does that, knowing that you're playing teams that were on the lower end of the conference, help you guys out when it comes to you know, being on the road for your first games?
You know, we look at every team the same, whether they're the reigning national champions or they're ones that maybe would have struggled a little bit in the season. And as Callie mentioned, every team is a new team. It's a new year. And anytime you go on the road, it's really difficult to win. And so we do not talk about records. We do not talk about that. We talk about what we need to do to get a win and what we can control, and playing at a high level every single time. So, you know, starting this conference season early, you know, we're starting 2 games here next week, and then we have some more non-conference games left before the rest of the MIAA conference. It's going to be huge. It's going to be really telling what it's going to mean for us in March. And so we need to go on the road. We need to take care of business, and no game is a guarantee, and no game is an easy one, and especially when you go on the road. So we're going to have to really play well.
Well, good luck as the MIAA, you know, schedule comes about. Good luck to you, Coach. Good luck to you, Callie. First off, thank you guys for joining me, and I hope you guys have a great, you know, rest of your day, rest of the season. That is Coach Katie Falco and player Callie Billner. Up next, we'll be joined by the new Lindenwood Lion Line coach. Her name's Whitney Sterns. She's next on Lion Pride Sports.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be earthquake next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell over me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Well, Thomas, you've got pre-diabetes. But with more exercise and a change in diet, it can be reversed.
I've tried exercising. It just makes me hungry for bacon.
I love bacon, too. And who really likes to exercise?
Not me.
Me neither.
Nobody. So we're good?
What? Oh, you still have pre-diabetes. Big time.
Welcome back to Lion Pride Sports. Again, I'm Andrew Rogers, now being joined by the Lion Line head coach, Coach Whitney Sterns. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And Coach, like I said, it's your first year. How's it been going for you?
The season's been going great. We are preparing for Nationals coming up soon, so we're kind of deep into that season.
And then, of course, you know, you're not just the Lion Line coach. You do a lot more than that. But I want to go back to when you were the Lionettes coach. So you were the Lionettes coach for the previous 3 seasons. And you helped oversee them win back-to-back titles. In a moment like that, is it hard to leave that team to just move to the other team here at Lindenwood? Like, I don't want to call it like a step up or anything, because it's more just, you know, transitioning teams in my mind. I don't know if you see it any differently, but is it hard to leave a team that you helped win back-to-back titles and try to do the exact same thing now with a program that's had accolades like the Lion Line?
Yeah, so one of the biggest blessings with Lindenwood and getting to come back and coach the team that I was on is that I get to continue coaching Lionettes as well. So I actually get to be the head coach of both teams with an amazing staff underneath of me. My assistant of the program, Krista Streisel, is incredible, helping me plan for both teams. And then I have Lena Wimmer and Natalie Lane for Lionettes and Lion Line. So I get to do both. I get to continue both. But it is a huge blessing to get to work with Lion Line again after being on the team for 4 years.
So it's basically like just double dipping.
Yeah, absolutely.
You get to put your feet in so many different platforms.
You could call it that, or just a lot of work and extremely stressful, but it's fun. It's really fun.
And speaking of that work, and something that always amazes me is whenever if you ever walk around campus, you notice that, oh, there's the dance team performing downstairs again in Evans, and then you go down there and you're like, wow, there's just so many different like music changes. Like it's all an upbeat. Say you're doing a hip hop routine, right? You listen to so much music, and you're like, how in the heck do they figure out, like, okay, this is the part of the song that we want. This is what we want to dance to. And then kind of like put it all together, and also coach and teach what you want the women to do out there on the floor as well. So when it goes into, like, you know, building that playlist of music, how stressful of a time is that for you?
Oh, goodness. Okay, so music is very difficult. It is probably the most stressful part of coaching the teams, just because what you pick has to be the best thing that they can put out on the floor. And they have to be able to get into it. The choreographer has to be able to get into it to create something that's going to work. For me, this year specifically, I've been extremely, extremely blessed. Our hip-hop choreographer for Lion Line is also our DJ. And so she was able to come in and choreograph while fixing music, so she could add a beat where she wanted to add a certain move or things like that. So that was kind of nice. And then our hip-hop choreographer for Lionettes owns her own choreography company, and so she has a DJ under them. So they kind of chose the music this year, which was kind of nice. When it comes to jazz, that's even harder.
Is that all you?
That it's us and the choreographers together. I think I got about 50 to 60 song options in one day from my choreographer for Lion Line. But we just kind of sit together and talk through what's going to be best. The coaches sit down and think through, you know, what's going to be most powerful on the stage, what's going to leave an impression. So it's not necessarily what the music is itself, but it's also the meaning behind the music. And I ultimately believe that's where Lionettes have come out on top in the last couple of years, is the meaning behind the music is what has allowed the girls to really get into it and show something that not many teams are able to show on the stage.
And you talked about, you know, having to listen to like 50 or 60 songs just for one like 3-minute clip, basically, because that's all you're out there for. It seems like, you know, the snap of a finger. I mean, you were a dancer, you know that. It's not like you're timed or anything. You go out there and you're like, I've been practicing for 3 months and this took like 30 seconds. Like, come on. But no, you said you listened to 50 and 60 songs, and as a coach, this is what I wanted to get to. As most other coaches would do, they probably scout another team, which is where most of that time goes into. As like for you guys, you would listen to a bunch of songs, and then you'd apply that to your team. After you scout this team over here, you'd apply and how you would face up against that team. Do you ever scout other dance teams to kind of figure out what they're doing as well?
Yeah, so we have some awesome competitors at both NDA and UDA. Line attends UDA in January, and so we have some competitors in there, some incredible teams up in the Minnesota area, some in California, and all of them bring incredible talent and bring something different each year. So we do look at what they've brought in years past, but more so we get score sheets that allow us to see where we were at the year before, and we kind of compared those to what we can add into a routine for the next year. For Lionettes, it's the exact same thing. A lot of really strong competitors that we're able to look at, but mostly it's going to be the score sheets from the year before and how we can improve our own scores. Ultimately, it's going to be a completely different dance every year from each team, so you won't see the exact same thing coming from them. So we more so like to focus on ourselves and what we can bring. The talent that we have this year specifically on both teams is incredible, and so it allows us to kind of put more out on the floor and have a lot more technique and things like that that we can put out there that can wow judges.
Great transition to this question now by you using the word technique, because this is exactly where I wanted to go with this. When you spoke about choreography, and you were kind of getting to this point a little bit too, when it comes down to the technique and performance, how do you avoid repeating some of the things that you've done before, or when it comes to repeating a lot of the stuff that you have done in the past, how do you mix it up so it doesn't look like you're doing the exact same thing?
Yeah, so music has a big part of that. How the music plays out kind of allows the choreographer and even us as coaches and the dancers to kind of feel something, and if there's something that works that was used the year before, we'll do it. But we like to change it up. We don't like to do a lot of the same thing. We like to continue to grow. So a lot of that with technique is working in practice to make sure that our technique is not at the same level as it was the year before. We want to continue to grow and get better so that we can put something bigger and better out there. Sometimes the technique that we've used in the years past may be a step down level-wise, but it's also something that's going to wow the judges and really show our technique. So regardless if it was used the year before, it's a point for technique. And that's a huge part in the score sheets as well. They require things like that. So if it fits and it works and it'll get us points, that's kind of why we'll put it in there again.
And I don't want you to play favorites for me at all, but no, you're not that way. But when we're talking about the team, of course, I don't want you to choose a favorite player. That's why she said, "Oh God." So I don't want you to choose a favorite dancer at all. But I want to ask you, when it comes to everybody on your team, do you notice that other dancers have, say, more skill in jazz than they do in hip hop, or hip hop and jazz, or vice versa, like something like that? Or do you think that most of these girls can really contribute to all different styles of dance while they're out there?
Yeah, so I would agree that every dancer is different. Not every dancer is as strong in one suit as they are in another. I know for myself, hip hop was my thing here at Lindenwood, and flexibility plays a huge part in the jazz side of things, and technique, and where I had certain aspects of it, hip hop was just my thing. And so that's where I knew I was going to be able to give the most. And I think a lot of dancers, especially at the college level, know where their biggest assets are and where they're going to offer the most. And so every dancer has something different that they offer to the team. Even if it's in jazz, they all have something different in jazz that they offer. If it's in hip hop, they all have something different they offer. I have girls who grew up up training in gymnastics. So they're going to be the ones that we are using for the flips and tricks and things like that. I have girls who are strictly in ballet, which is where you're going to get all of your technique. So they have more of the technical elements that we need in jazz. Some girls work more on movement growing up in studios and less on technique. So they're going to be amazing in jazz, but the technical side of things isn't going to be their strongest suit. In hip hop, it might be the moving and grooving, but the tricks may not be their strong suit. And so we kind of are able to put it all together and create this finished puzzle at the end, and allows us to have all of the technique and the elements that we need, but maybe not from everyone. And I think that's something we work on too, is to get everybody at the same playing field when it comes to tricks and then turns and technique.
Yeah, you talked about how whenever you look for a dancer, you look for some that can do the tricks as like a previous gymnast. You look for the technical ballet dancers. Now the question for you is, how do you go out and recruit girls like this?
Yes, so actually there are a ton of events here in Missouri. Growing up in Nebraska, coming to Missouri, it was a rude awakening what the dance team world is like, but it's really cool. There are huge events such as one coming up soon, the big Limburg competition. So it's at Limburg High School. It's a big one-day event that all high schools in Missouri, almost every high school in Missouri attends, if not at least in the St. Louis area. Every school is there, and we're able to watch dancers, and we have packets that kind of allow them to see more about Lindenwood, but we just talk to them. We kind of walk around, and if we see girls who have amazing potential that we'd love to see come to Lindenwood, we'll just go up and talk to them at those events. There are also things like my assistant Krista and I choreograph for a high school in the area, and so that allows us to get out and work with them. I work for a choreography company that allows me to get out and be with dance teams in high school, that I'm able to talk to dancers, and if they're looking at schools or are kind of wanting to move in that direction, I can talk with them about Lindenwood. And I firmly believe that every person has a different calling for them. So maybe dance is where they want to be, but if Lindenwood is not the place, then I'm going to encourage that. They continue dancing wherever that may be, but of course I'm always going to encourage, I want them to come dance for me, because I would love to get my hands on dancers who have so much potential and talent. I want to see them strive and grow. But recruiting for us is hard at times because we don't have a ton of events, but I would say that Missouri is probably the best for that, because our high school dance teams take it so serious that those high school events we can be at and recruit.
And I love hearing that you look for the dancers that are ready to grind. Like that's
Yes.
basically what you're getting at. You're looking for those dancers that are ready to grind. As we start to wrap this up, one of my last questions for you is, what are you doing right now for training as I don't want to call it an off season, but I'm going to call it an off season. What are you doing for training right now to help you prepare for nationals, and what type of dance routines are you guys working on?
Yes, so both Lion and Lionettes perform a jazz and a hip hop routine at nationals. So Lion, we are deep into our national season, so we are no longer in our off season. We are busting our butts, working really hard, spending a multitude of hours just getting dances ready. So we are cleaning, we are working out at 6 a.m. every Tuesday, both teams, and preparing for endurance and things like that to have strength, which is a huge part of being on the nationals floor as well. And then in practices, we are not only cleaning nationals routines, but also working on game day routines to be able to perform at basketball games and be on the sidelines, things like that. And Lionettes are finished learning one of their dances. We're waiting to learn another one right before they leave for break. And so they ultimately are just working hard to get their stamina and their strength up. So when those dances are done, we can push through national season and hopefully, Lord willing, come out on top.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for taking some time and joining me today. This is Coach Whitney Sterns. Again, she's the Lion head coach, but really she does it all. She oversees a lot, and again, the director of the dance team. So thank you so much, Whitney, for taking some time and joining us today. And thank you, of course, again to Coach Katie Falco and Callie Billner, who led off our show. That'll do it here for Lion Pride Sports. For myself, Andrew Rogers, we'll see you next time.